Hello friends, in this lecture we are going to discuss about reproduction in paramecium. As in last lecture we learned that there are two types of reproduction. One is sexual reproduction and other is asexual reproduction. So in this lecture we will learn about sexual reproduction, that is conjugation. Conjugation in paramecium. So conjugation, it is a mode of sexual reproduction. So in paramecium, conjugation takes place after successive binary fission. When colony becomes old, for rejuvenating the colony, conjugation takes place, which is a sexual mode of reproduction. In conjugation, two paramecia come close to each other. Two paramecia of same species. Two paramecia of same species but opposite mating type. They come close to each other, unite temporarily for exchange of genetic material. Union of two paramecia. Which are the two paramecia? They are having same species but different mating type. Mating types are different. They come to each other by their oral or ventral surfaces. Oral or ventral surfaces. They form a temporary union. Cilia of both the paramecia, they form a adhesive substance, and due to this adhesive substance they unite, stick to each other. And what happens then? The protoplasmic bridge is formed by dissolving the pellicle and ectoplasm. This is a protoplasmic bridge. What happens after the union? Cilia form the adhesive substance, they unite to each other, and in between two, the pellicle, the place of union, the pellicle at the place of union disintegrate, dissolve, and a protoplasmic, this is called as a protoplasmic bridge. Protoplasmic bridge is formed in between the two paramecia. For what purpose? For exchange of genetic material. For exchange of genetic material, a protoplasmic bridge is formed. Now, before this union, these two paramecium, they become sluggish and they stop their activities, and then they come to each other, unite to each other for the process of conjugation. Protoplasmic bridge is formed. Now in this process, you know that paramecium, it is having two nuclei. One is called as meganucleus and other is called as micronucleus. Now in the process of conjugation, meganucleus does not take part. It disintegrates, and by the process it degenerated and absorbed in the endoplasm. It does not take place. Meganucleus or larger nucleus, it does not take part in the process of conjugation. At the beginning it starts disintegrating, and during this process it degenerates completely and absorbed completely into the cytoplasm. Then remains micronucleus. What happens? This micronucleus actively take part in the process of conjugation. This micronucleus, it divides twice. Micronucleus of each, they are called as conjugant. After union, they are called as conjugant. These are the two conjugant. This is the protoplasmic bridge here. Protoplasmic bridge is here. And what happens? Meganucleus disintegrated. Now micronucleus divide twice. First division 2 micronuclear form and second division from the 2 4R form, means micronucleus divide twice. One of the division is meiotic division. Meiosis means it is called as reductional division. Chromosome number is reduced to half. One of the division is reductional one, and by this way, from a single micronucleus, 4 nuclei form. 4 nuclei form. Haploid nuclear form. Haploid means due to the meiotic division, chromosome number is reduced to half. 4 haploid nuclear form. And now what happens? 3 out of 4 micronuclei degenerate or disintegrate. Only 1 micronucleus remains in the ex-conjugant. See here. Only 1 micronucleus remain there. Means from single micronucleus 2 division occurs, 4 nuclear form. Out of 4, 3 nuclei are degenerated, disintegrated. Now in each ex-conjugant only 1 nucleus remains. Now this nucleus, it undergoes division, but this division is amitotic division. This division is amitotic division and unequal division. Means it simply there is the formation of constriction 2 nuclear form and that are unequal division. Unequal means what happens? One becomes larger in size and one becomes smaller in size. In each ex-conjugant, 2 nuclear formed by the unequal division of the single nucleus. 2 nuclear form, one becomes larger and one becomes smaller. The larger one is stationary. It is stationary. It is called as female pronucleus. Female pronucleus. And smaller one is active and migratory. It is called as male pronucleus. It is called as male pronucleus. See once again, meganucleus disintegrated, micronucleus divide twice, 4 micronuclei, 3 degenerated, 1 remain. This one divide unequally, amitotically, forming 2 pronuclei. One of the pronuclei is larger, stationary. It is called as female pronucleus, and other is smaller, active, migratory. It is called as male pronucleus. Now what happens? The migratory male pronuclei of one ex-conjugant crosses the protoplasmic bridge. Crosses the protoplasmic bridge and fuses with female pronuclei of neighboring one. Means what happens? Both the micronuclei of the conjugant crosses the protoplasmic bridge and fuses with neighboring female pronuclei, forming synkaryon. Syn means union, both. Karyon means nucleus. Union of this male and female pronuclei of neighboring of conjugant takes place, and there is a formation of single zygotic nucleus. See here. This is a female pronucleus, and this migratory pronucleus of this unite with this, and this ex-conjugates unite with this. Thus, there is a formation of larger single nucleus. It is called as synkaryon. It is called as synkaryon. Means union of these two nuclei by crossing the protoplasmic bridge takes place. Now, what happens in here? Both the nuclei are exchanged and they unite. Means here is exchange of genetic material takes place. Exchange of genetic material takes place. Now what happens? These are conjugates. These are now conjugate. Now nuclear exchange takes place. What happens? These conjugates now separate from each other. These conjugates now separate from each other. They are called as ex-conjugant. Up till they are conjugate. Exchange of nuclears takes place. Now they separate from each other, and now each one it is called as ex-conjugant. Ex-conjugant. Now each ex-conjugant is having a larger synkaryotic nucleus. Larger synkaryotic nucleus. Now what happens? This ex-conjugant, which consists of a single nucleus, zygotic nucleus, diploid nucleus, because this unite with this one, diploid nucleus, which is larger in size. This is called as synkaryotic nucleus or synkaryon. This synkaryon, it undergoes 4 division. It undergoes 4 divisions. See here, this is a ex-conjugant. During first division, 2 nuclei are formed. Okay. During second division, 4 nuclei are formed. And during third division, 4 forms 8. Means what happens? This synkaryon divides 3 times, forming 8 nuclei. This happens in this ex-conjugant also. I am going to discuss only one now. This also happens same in this ex-conjugant also. Means this synkaryon divides 3 times, forming 8 nuclei. Now this division is also unequal. So 4 nuclei they become larger in size, and 4 nuclei they become smaller in size. So larger one is called as female nucleus and or meganucleus, not female, it is called as meganucleus, and this one is called as micronucleus. So now each ex-conjugant, this one also and this one also, is having 8 nuclei. Out of 8, 4 are larger. There are 4 meganucleus and 4 are micronucleus. Now next step, 3 out of 4 micronuclei disappear or degenerate. 3 out of 4 degenerate. Now the ex-conjugant is having 4 meganuclei and 1 micronucleus. 1 micronucleus. Because these 3 are disintegrated. So 4 mega and 1 micronucleus remains in each ex-conjugant. Now what happens in the next? I will clear this one. Now what happens? Now here is the process of binary fission. Here is the process of binary fission. The ex-conjugant along with micronuclei divide. What happens? There is a transfer division. Transfer division. This cytoplasmic notch is formed, and this deepens inside. At the same time, micronucleus divide, and micronucleus and this ex-conjugant divide, forming two paramecia. Forming two paramecia. Each paramecia is having two meganuclei and one micronucleus. This one is having two meganuclei and one micronucleus. Again, this paramecium along with the micronucleus divide, forming four. From these two are formed. 1, 2. Each one is having one meganucleus, and this micronucleus divide goes to respective paramecium. This one also forms two paramecia. Each paramecium is having one meganucleus and one micronucleus. Now these are the daughter paramecia. These are the daughter paramecia formed from single ex-conjugant. How many paramecia, daughter paramecia are formed from a single ex-conjugant? 4. From this ex-conjugant also, like this one, 4 paramecia are also formed. Same to this process. That is what happens. This syncaryon divides 3 times. In this ex-conjugant also, 8 are formed. Out of 8, 4 are larger, meganucleus, 4 are smaller, micronucleus, 3 micronucleus disintegrate, 1 remain. Now the paramecium is having 4 micro and 1 meganucleus. This micronucleus and this paramecium divide binary fission, and 2 paramecia are formed. Each is having 2 mega and 1 divided micronucleus, 2 mega and 1 divided micronucleus. Again these two undergo the process of binary fission. 2 paramecia along with the micronucleus divide. Now each daughter paramecium is having 1 mega and 1 micronucleus, 1 mega and 1 micronucleus, like that of the parent one, like that of the parent one. Thus, at the end of conjugation, 8 daughter paramecium are formed. 8 daughter paramecia are formed. 4 from each ex-conjugant. 4 from each ex-conjugant. That is the end of conjugation. So in binary fission, it is asexual reproduction. Only 2 are formed. Okay. But in case of conjugation, which is a sexual mode of reproduction, in which from the 2 paramecia at the end, 4 from each ex-conjugant means 8 daughter paramecia are formed. See, I will repeat the process once again. In case of 2 paramecia come close to each other, formation of protoplasmic breach, meganucleus disintegrate and disappear, absorbed in the cytoplasm, micronucleus divide twice, 1 division is reduction, 4 micronuclei are formed, 3 out of 4 disintegrate, 1 remain. Now this one divide unequally, 1 become larger, it is stationary, called as female pronucleus, 1 is active, smaller, called as male pronucleus, male stationary, male pronucleus crosses the protoplasmic breach, unite with the neighboring female pronucleus, forming a syncaryon. Now the pair separate. They are called as ex-conjugant. Up till now they are conjugant. Now they are separated. They are called as ex-conjugant. Now each ex-conjugant is having a single zygotic nucleus. It is diploid nucleus. It is called as syncaryon. Syncaryon of each ex-conjugant divide 3 times, forming 8 nuclei. 4 are larger, meganucleus, 4 are smaller, micronucleus, 3 micronuclei divide. Now each X-conjugant is having 4 mega and 1 micronucleus. Now the X-conjugant along with micronucleus divide. New paramecia are formed. From this X-conjugant, 2 paramecia are formed. Each one is having 2 mega, 1 micronucleus, 2 mega, 1 micronucleus. Again micronucleus along with paramecium divide. At the end, 4 daughters from this X-conjugant and 4 daughters from this X-conjugant are formed. Means 8 paramecia are formed at the end of this conjugation. This is the process of conjugation. Now, important part of this is significance of conjugation. Significance of conjugation. I will clear this part. Significance of conjugation. As you know that this is a sexual mode of reproduction, and after successive binary fission or asexual reproduction, colony becomes weak, and for rejuvenating the colony, Paramecium undergoes sexual mode of reproduction. So it is a rejuvenating method. First significance is it is a rejuvenating method. Means due to successive asexual reproduction, the vitality of the colony becomes weak. The colony becomes weak, Paramecium becomes weak, their metabolic activity stops, and this is the colony becomes that process is called an aging. Aging of Paramecium takes place. Metabolic activities are stopped, and then by the process of this conjugation, here is nuclear reorganization. What happens? Nuclear reorganization. Reorganize Paramecium in case of this C. Meganucleus disappeared. Okay? And this meganucleus is reorganized from the sine carrier. Navani tayar newly formed, reorganized from sine carrier. And so it is both the nuclei are reorganized and from the sine carrier. So this is a rejuvenating method. This is a rejuvenating, new, better, fresh, young generation is formed. This is the first significance of conjugation. Second significance of conjugation is there is an exchange of nuclear material takes place. Exchange of nuclear material. See here, this is conjugant. The micronucleus crosses the protoplasmic bridge and goes here. This micronucleus goes, means exchange of nuclei takes place. So what happened? New genetic combination takes place. Whatever the genetic material from this unite with this genetic material unite with this. So what happens in this process? New genetic combination by the exchange of nuclear material takes place. Means these are the two rejuvenating method, significance, main important thing, rejuvenating methods and exchange of nuclear material takes place. These are the two important significance of conjugation. So this is the process of reproduction, that is conjugation in Paramecium. Thank you very much.